Okay, and after this whole presentation, we'll do a quick workshop or quickly look through how to produce a video. So I'll give you a tutorial. Let's start with what this channel basically is. We are talking about the channel of Peak
Psychology. How to
What the fuck? This is the channel you will be producing for. It has currently 50,000 subscribers, 83 million views, and so on, $5,000 earned in the lifetime. And I need help. I need people who want to edit, but who don't want to start an own channel and take the risk of maybe failing. So I want to lower the barrier to entry and create a win-win situation. So, the team is made up of me, some guy from Singapore who has some connections to some Indian editors, and you guys. This is an operation which will be scaled drastically in the future. So maybe in 3 months, you won't be editing yourself, but will be overseeing a whole army of editors. By the way, you will do the script writing and clip finding yourself, except if you really don't want to, then I can do that for you, but we'll talk about that later. We are in the aviation niche and currently do 3 types of content. First, we do radio calls, and radio calls is pretty simple. If I click on this link,
This pilot has
we can quickly watch the video. It is really easy to make, but gets a lot of clicks in the aviation community because a lot of nerds really like how this is structured. It always starts with an introduction from us,
had to deal with an engine failure. Just
some red arrows and so on. And then there comes an announcement or a chat between pilot and ATC. ATC stands for Air Traffic Controller.
Los Angeles, we continue to have the fuel problem.
Okay, I think you get it. You can look at the video later. Let's move on quickly to the next type of content we produce, aviation commentary. This is the niche that has been performing best so far, but I think in the near future it won't perform as good because YouTube doesn't really like it because it's basically in a gray area when it comes to copying other people's contents. So for example,
watch this.
this is a video. It performs very well, 15 million views, over $1,000 with one video, which I did at 2 a.m. on a Thursday or something like that, because I didn't have anything else to upload. It always starts with us talking, like this.
Is Karen getting karma for being annoying? She lashed out at the man, but watch what he does next.
And then you just let the clip roll, especially if it's a very interesting clip. You can just show it. Do some editing, like this. And in this case, there is nothing else. Sometimes you can ask a question at the end to get more comments, but that is not really a must. Okay, let's go further. The best stuff that you can create and the stuff that will get you probably a promotion in this kind of work area is original stuff. It's just random videos about aviation type content, like what is the fastest plane, what is the heaviest plane, and so on. Like for example, this video is about
This is Putin's doomsday plane, the Ilyushin.
Something completely random. But if you make this in a high quality, it's the stuff that consistently
This is
performs
Putin.
best. Okay. Let's get to the next thing. Understanding the target audience. Who do we produce for? We produce for mainly an audience between 20 and 40 years old. So Don't make the videos too childish and don't over edit. But also use bright colors, red arrows. A little bit of editing is always necessary, but it has to look professional, I'd say. So what you see here on the left is the Devon zone, really easy. The captions always go right under the middle in a central place, so they are easy to read. And the most important thing is that the subject you are looking at is as close as possible to the captions. But the captions shouldn't be over the subject. The green zone, you can add anything there, but it's not really that important. And the black zone is where the icons, like the like button and so on, is, where the viewer doesn't even look at. So never place a red arrow or anything there. The focus should be always in this colored area. That is because most people watch from mobile and the mobile screen is really small, so make every red arrow big and so on. You know what I'm talking about. When it comes to language, we won't use any slurs and we will cut out any slurs like fuck, bullshit, asshole, and so on. Also, some politically loaded words are bad for the algorithm, like Jew. And I think communist should be another thing that is loaded. We should use easy language because most people on YouTube Shorts don't really know English or are just fucking stupid. So try to write the scripts at a level which a sixth grader can understand. ChatGPT can really help here when you ask it to make your script more clear and engaging and easier to understand. Also, never forget to use a good hook. I'll link to a cool tutorial on how to create the best hooks after this presentation. Our goal with this is that we'll have a posting schedule of at least one video per day, but since we are so many people, I won't enforce any deadlines. So if your mother is ill or you have school, don't worry. This is the last thing you're doing. This is for yourself. This is productivity, but don't sacrifice any free time or any social connections because of this. Because obviously this helps you out a lot in the long run, but if your grandma is on the deathbed, you shouldn't do this. Okay, next we'll go on to what did I put here? Yeah, the Discord server. I'll quickly explain it. I think Discord is a genius invention. Really quick, we have a general chat where I'll do the announcements and you can talk with one another. It's nothing special. The assets channel, where you will find the basic assets like a link to a Word document, where all the important sites like 11 Labs, CapCut, and other really, really useful tools are linked. Also, there is the stock media folder. This is a really interesting folder because I can quickly go into it. In this folder, you have a lot of stock media which you can and should use. So, what should you use? In the frequently used images folder is the basic stuff that is the most important. If we use emojis, we always use Apple emojis, not Microsoft emojis. If we use an arrow, we use exactly this arrow, nothing else, and exactly this circle, nothing else, and exactly this question mark, and if it fits, you can use something else. These two are just complementary, so you don't have to use them. You can use them, but I just put them there if they get too repetitive. Let's move on to the next channel, standards. Here I have uploaded our standards on this channel. Most importantly, the base values we use a peak elevation file. I'll quickly open it. So what's up with this? This is like if you have a company, the company has its company colors. This is the same thing here. For the font, we use Comica Access in the linked file. With the links, you can find a download link. This is the same font Mr. Beast uses. And you can read through this on your own time. Like for example, which voice we use on 11 Labs. We use Alex Wright, but we, for example, use the multilingual version V1 and not the newest version, because it sounds better. Let's continue with our next channel. In this channel, I haven't really been posting anything because it's still in work. Here I will be posting all the tutorials you need, from the most basic steps like how to generate voices in 11 Labs, how to adjust certain things in CapCut if you have forgot how to do it. I hope that helps. And in the feedback folder, I have linked to another folder, a Google Drive folder, where I have taken your raw videos, which you have produced. I can quickly show it to you. Which I have provided with feedback. So you can see some of the videos from the others here. And in the text documents, there is feedback. So what was wrong with this video? For example, in this video, there was a really annoying mistake. The first two words were yellow and didn't change anything. Also, there was a whole lot of other stuff, but basically this video was pretty good. You could look at it later. Then I'll try to make a private channel with everybody where I will provide you with your personal drives, with the drive links, which we'll come to in a second. Okay. Next point, the file management system. The file management system is really basic and simple. Normally you might be familiar with using Google Drive, but I don't have the 2 terabyte Google Drive. I have a 1 terabyte OneDrive. And I have created folders for each of you. And you can only see your folder because I have only shared your folder. And if we, for example, go in one folder here, you can see there is this approved and completed folder where I will move the finished videos into. If they are uploaded, you don't move anything there. And you will create folders for each video. So for example, you are making a new video. Today is the 29th, 2025. Or something like that. Then you type in your name, for example, in this case, Niklas. And then the topic, like stupid pilot eats keine Ahnung. However, in this folder you drop 1, your video, 2, your script, and maybe any raw footage you use. Like for example, if you did a commentary clip, please drop the raw clip in there. And if you did a radio call, please drop the radio call in there. Okay. For the people where I won't be providing any clips, we'll do it in another way. Then I will create a folder and just upload the source video and the script in there. Maybe if you are not familiar with 11 Labs and don't want to learn it, I can also drop the voice files in here, which I'll probably do with some of the Filipinian cutters. Okay. Now that we have seen the folder structure, we go to the basic file naming rules, which are also quite important. They are as stated here. Just say what the video is about in 2 to 5 words, then write 2025 behind it, and just put a minus between each word, because YouTube can then easily analyze this, what is going on here. Okay, my English is really struggling at the moment. We have already gone through this. This is the assets folder. It is really easy to understand. We have the frequently used images, which I have already shown you. Then we have the frequently used sound effects, which is like the top 11 or something voice clips we use in most cases. Oh no, sorry, 15. Then if you need any more sound effects, you can go into the sound effects folder, which you can also use for other projects. I'm really generous here. These are some of the most recognizable sound effects you know on the internet, and you don't really have to search for them yourself. You know what I mean. Okay, then we also have plain sound effects. I mean aviation sound effects. Sorry. We have different sound effects, like, for example, how it sounds inside an airplane, or how an airplane sounds that flies over someone or is taking off, or a jet engine starting up. There's a lot, but you can find this stuff on the internet really easily. The same thing goes for some stock aviation videos, which I have put in here. There is out the window footage, there is normal big planes, there is military footage, and so on. In the past I did a lot of military aircraft videos, but they didn't perform as well as the current ones do. Then we are finished with the file structure. If you can read, it's pretty easy. If you don't, do the script. And okay, what do we expect from you? We don't have any turnaround times here. If you produce 1 video a week, we have no problem with that. If you produce 10 videos a week, we have no problem with that. If you produce a video every month, we don't have a problem with that. So this is because we don't pay in, we mostly pay in percentages, and I hope you can understand what I mean by this. But please, if I messaged you, reply and don't ghost me. You can use any B-roll you like, as long as it's not copyrighted. I even heavily encourage you to do this. B-roll is like the other clips you combine with your clips. But what I won't do is upload videos with a bad quality. What I'll be doing is say, do this and this and this, then look over it. And if your video is better after the second try, I will upload it. Or after the third try or fourth try. When I was an editor, there was 7 tries sometimes. Okay, let's go to the final part here. Please always think of proper video trimming so that there is no unnecessary pauses left, no unnecessary footage left, that the attention span of the viewer will be as short as possible. Or how do I say this? The viewers don't really have an attention span, so even 0.3 seconds of a pause will result in 5% of the viewers leaving. So cut all pauses out. And another big thing is accurate captions. Please don't make any spelling mistakes in there, except for if you want to make a spelling mistake for more comments. That's also a strategy. And don't use any commas or dots in the captions. Only exclamation marks, question marks, and 3 dots. The correct format has to be always met. This is in the format file, which I have already shown you. It was this file. And yeah, we are finished now. We can go into the questions and discussion phase. Okay, hopefully you are finished with the scripts. We will go on to the next phase, transforming the script into voice. For this, we will go to ElevenLabs. This is the main standard text-to-speech app that exists. If you don't have an account, it's really easy to create. You go to temp mail, also everything linked in the links document. It will generate a temporary email. Sometimes they have already been used, but in more cases than not, they haven't been used. Copy this, sign out, paste the email, create a password, and then you have 10,000 characters to use. In the future, I will also buy the premium version here, but as long as this little exploit works, we can use it. Most people use it. Okay.
What this pilot did before takeoff got him.
Now we generate voices. Sometimes they sound really bad. Sometimes there is little mistakes. We want a perfect voice. So let's have a few generations here. I will always say what sounds bad and what doesn't. So this sounds bad, I can already tell.
What this pilot did before takeoff got him in big trouble.
This sounds a little bit gay, I think.
What this pilot did before takeoff got him in big trouble.
Here he breathed out, he exhaled at the end. We don't want that.
What this pilot did before takeoff got him in big trouble.
This is way better. I think we can use this. Also, what you have seen me doing here, we generate each sentence by itself. That is really great because then we can do multiple generations without wasting too much credits. Also, if we generate multiple sentences with most voices, they get really slow and don't work that well. So let's generate.
The passengers suspected nothing when entering the plane.
This is a little bit too deep compared to the previous voice clip, so let's generate it again.
The passengers suspected nothing when entering the plane. The passengers suspected nothing when entering the plane.
I think we can use that, but let's generate even more. The previous clip sounded really artificial. Try to make it sound like a real human and you get the feeling with time.
The passengers suspected nothing when entering the plane.
In this case, plane was pronounced a bit too heavy. The P sound made a too big pop.
The passengers suspected nothing when entering the plane.
This is really great. Okay, let's do the next one. Only one sentence.
The pilot was overly confident, so he smiled and waved them in. He was overly confident, so he smiled and waved them in.
We can use that. Let's do.
He was overly confident, so he smiled and waved them in.
In this case, it was too bassy, too deep. It sounded completely different than the previous sound clip.
He was overly confident, so he smiled and waved them in.
In this case, it really sounded like AI because of the... we can listen to it again. radio chattery voice.
He was overly confident, so he smiled and waved them in.
Yeah, I hope you can hear it.
He was overly confident, so he smiled and waved them in.
And it sounds different than the previous clips. So next sentence.
He was in such a good mood that he even helped the ground crew close the door. He was in such a good mood that he even helped the ground crew close the door. The pilot was in such a good mood that he even helped the...
In this instance, the P with pilot was also too really intense, so we don't want that.
The pilot was in such a good mood that he even helped the ground crew close the door.
Okay, maybe make the that go.
The pilot was in such a good mood he even helped the ground crew close the door.
Normally, I think you would place a comma here. Commas are, in most cases, really bad for the AI voice because it tends to make too long pauses. But sometimes when there is a natural pause, you can do it in CapCut.
The pilot was in such a good mood, he even helped the ground crew close the door.
This sounded too much like AI.
The pilot was in such a good mood, he even helped the ground crew close the door.
Yeah, this sounds really excited, full of energy, fast. We want that. By the way, these are the controls which you have to use, like stated in the document. And here choose 11 laps V1 and not V3 or V2. Have I already downloaded it? I don't know.
But this is where he made his grave mistake. But this is where he made his grave mistake. But this is where he made his grave mistake. But this is where he made his grave mistake. But this is where he made his grave mistake. But this is where he made his grave mistake. But this is where he made his grave mistake.
The problem right now is this doesn't sound like the previous voices. So in a lot of cases you have to regenerate it over and over.
But this is where he made his grave mistake. But this is where he made his grave mistake. But this is where he made his grave mistake.
I think this is better. But what you might have also heard at the end of these lines, he said, but this is where he made his great mistake. It goes like a little bit up at the end of the sentence. We don't want that because voice trainers will often say that if you make a statement, like for example, the dog is blue or the cloud is green, when it ends with the sentence going higher, it sounds really weak. Only weak people do that, not people who you want to listen to. And this is like stuff that the AI doesn't really get, but it only gets it like every 3 to 4 generations. So really listen to it, what sounds natural, what doesn't. And as I have said, this comes with experience.
He realized that he locked himself out of the plane and couldn't get in anymore. He realized that he locked himself out of the plane and couldn't get in anymore.
Maybe we'll take that.
He realized that he locked himself out of the plane and He realized that he locked himself out of the plane and couldn't get in anymore. He realized that he locked himself out of the plane and couldn't. He realized that he locked himself out of the plane and couldn't get in anymore. He realized that he locked himself out of the plane and couldn't get in anymore.
Anymore is a real problem right here.
He realized that he locked himself out of the plane. He realized that he locked himself out of the plane and couldn't get in anymore. Would you have fired him for that?
I think that's good enough. I don't want to waste your time right here. Okay, you have probably also done it in the time while I was explaining. If not, please tell me, then I'll give you some time to generate your own voices.
Yeah, I need like 5 minutes to generate the voice.
Okay, then I'll give you some time.
Thanks. Okay, we can continue.
Are the others also finished? Or do you even take a part in this? If not, no worries.
Yes, I'm done. I'm done. Yeah.
Okay. Then the majority is done. Now I will show you the most important part, which is kind of which isn't known by many people. I'll quickly delete this because it will be annoying. We will overlay the clips and cut out all the pauses.
Would you have fired him for that? He realized that he
And it's in the wrong order.
locked himself out of the plane and couldn't get in anymore. That he locked himself out of. This is where he did before. This pilot did before takeoff got him in big trouble.
Okay, we have to completely reorder everything. Perfect. Then we'll go to the first clip, cut out the start so it starts instantly.
What this pilot did before takeoff got him in big trouble.
And now the secret. Overlaying the clips, that there's absolutely no pause.
Big trouble. The passengers before takeoff got him in big trouble. The passengers.
This is way better than this.
Did before takeoff got him in big trouble. The passengers.
You would scroll instantly away. Some people do it like this, where they cut away this part, but it still sounds bad.
Before takeoff got him in big trouble. The passengers.
You would scroll, because there's no information.
Before takeoff got him in big trouble. The passengers suspected.
We can even overlay it more.
Pilot did before takeoff got him in big trouble. The passengers
And we can do the same stuff with
suspected
audio
nothing when
effects.
entering the plane. He was overly confident.
This was too much.
Thing when entering the plane. He was overly
So a bit further to the back.
thing when entering the plane. He was overly confident, so he smiled and waved them in. The pilot was in such a good mood, he even helped the ground crew close the door. The pilot was in such a good mood, he even helped the ground crew close the door. And waved them in. The pilot was in such a good mood, he even helped the ground crew close the door. The pilot was in such a good
Oh, this is what I generated multiple times.
close the door. But this is where he made his grave mistake. Close the door. But this is where he closed the door. But this is closed the door. But this is where he made his grave mistake. He realized that he grave mistake. He realized that he locked himself out of the plane and couldn't get in anymore. He realized that he locked himself out of the plane and couldn't get in anymore. His grave mistake. He realized that he
Sometimes you just have to compare different voice clips, which sound better.
made his grave mistake. He realized that he locked
Okay, the first one sounded better.
made his grave mistake. He realized that he locked himself grave mistake. He realized that he locked himself out of the plane and couldn't get in anymore.
And this right here is already 16 seconds. It sounds really little, but it's really a lot. Wait a second, I'm getting called by some number. You can already try by yourself. Okay, it was some Polish guy. I think it was a scam call. Sorry. Yeah, as I said, overlay the voice clips, and at the end,
Anymore.
cut the last part off. So when the people know they want to scroll off, we don't lose the 1 to 2% retention.
Couldn't get in anymore. Fired him
Oh, wait a second, there was still something.
anymore. Would you have fired him for that? Couldn't get in anymore. Would you have fired him for that?
And the question is the same thing as an call to action. This encourages the people to comment some stupid stuff. Some people actually answer these questions, and that fills the comment section.
I only got 13 seconds in total. Is it under minimum, right?
No problem. You can later space out the audio files and let a few seconds of the clip just run.
Alright.
Especially if something interesting is happening there.
What are we waiting for?
We are waiting for everyone to finish. I hope everyone is finished. So
Yes, I'm done.
we'll continue. Okay, perfect. Now we'll take the clip and cut out everything that is unnecessary and cut it in a way so that the viewer has everything he needs, he wants to watch. In this case, the clip is 3 times as long as the audio files. We will try to make this video about 25 seconds or something like that. So,
What this pilot did before takeoff got him in big trouble. The passenger
first we'll take the clip and make it quieter by adjusting the volume.
What this pilot did before takeoff got him in big trouble.
After every sentence, we will do a cut.
What this pilot did before takeoff got him in big trouble. The passengers suspected nothing when entering the plane. He was
Okay.
plane. He was overly confident, so he smiled and waved them in. The pilot was in such a good mood, he even helped the ground. The pilot.
Okay, here we'll give a short pause for a longer video.
The pilot was in such a good mood, he even helped the ground crew close the door. But this is where he made his grave mistake. He realized that he
I think this sound clip sounds bad, and we can do something really special here. For example, add wait for it at the end to let the clip play without any interruption per voice. Just wait for it is such a powerful sentence structure component. It boosts up retention in most cases.
But this is where he made his grave mistake. Just wait for it. But this is where he made his grave mistake. Just wait for it. But this is where he made his grave mistake. Just wait for it. The door. But this is where he made the door. But this is where he made his grave mistake. Just wait for it. Just wait for it. Wait for it. For it. He realized that he realized that he locked himself out of the plane and couldn't get in anymore. Would you have fired him?
Part.
You have fired him for that? What this pilot did before takeoff got him in big trouble. The passengers suspected nothing when entering the plane. He was overly confident, so he smiled and waved them in. Waved them in. The pilot was The pilot was in such a good mood.
Okay, here I have adjusted it so that the voice really starts when the clip starts.
The pilot was in such a good mood, he even helped the ground crew close the door. But this is where But this is where he made his grave mistake. Just wait for it. He realized that he lost. He realized that he locked himself out of the plane and couldn't get in anymore. The plane and couldn't get in anymore. Would you have fired? Couldn't get in anymore. And couldn't get in anymore. And couldn't get in anymore. Would you
Add more voice, because if we would play this clip without any commentary, it would get too boring. I would have swiped away here. Or wait. The people say something. Please, I can't stand now! Maybe we can use this.
Didn't get in anymore?
Sir?
Did someone say something?
Sir, can we add a loop effect on the end of the clip so it will, add more views for a second?
What did you say?
A loop effect on the last, in the last second for the,
A loop effect, like that you
yes,
end with "Have you ever thought about," and then it ends and repeats? Of course,
yes,
please do that.
yes.
Please do that.
Okay, thank you.
This is actually something really great, which is kind of advanced.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Yep.
Please, I can't stand now! Waiting for me! Waiting for me! Waiting for me!
Would you He have tried fired? not him for that? Would you have fired him for that? What this pilot did before takeoff got him in big trouble. The passengers suspected nothing when entering the plane. He was overly confident, so he smiled and waved them in. The pilot was in such a good mood, he even helped the ground crew close the door. But this is where he made his grave mistake. Just wait for it. He realized that he locked himself out of the plane and couldn't get in anymore.
Open, please! I can't stand now! Waiting for me!
Would you have fired him for that?
Yeah, okay, that's good enough. Okay, tell me when you guys are ready, and we will go to the next step.
Okay, I finish.
Okay. If you're finished, we'll move on. Now we have the basic skeleton of the video. This is already most of the work. Now we'll do the part where we will add value by ourselves. This is something which we will not do in this call because it would take too much time. In this case, we try to keep the focus point of the video always in the middle. So scale this video up and try to go to the pilot.
What this pilot did before takeoff got him in big trouble.
And then we'll add a red arrow, which you can find in the stock media folder under the frequently used images. Add the arrow, go like 2 to 3 frames back,
What this pilot
and then we go to the frequently used sounds. And add the first ding sound effect.
What this pilot did.
Now add the arrow like in every other shot you have ever watched. Make it as big as possible.
What this pilot did before takeoff got him. What this pilot did
Then we'll make a blend keyframe here.
before takeoff got.
Wait 1 to 2 seconds and decrease the opacity to 0.
What this.
Now the next step is to exactly track the arrow to the head of the captain or to whatever is shown. Sometimes we use a circle, really depends on the circumstance. We go 3 frames if the pilot doesn't really move that much, so it is really smooth. If there's a lot of movement, we make a keyframe for every movement. Keyframes you can make on the top right here, like this. Always track a certain point. For example, I am currently tracking the middle of his glasses. And I'm really not the best at tracking, which you might have noticed. But yeah, now we have a tracked
What this pilot.
arrow.
What this pilot did before takeoff got him in big trouble. What this pilot did before takeoff got him in big trouble. The passengers suspected nothing. What this pilot did before takeoff got him in big trouble. The passengers suspected nothing. The
Oh, great that you're back. So now we will add some question marks above the heads of the passengers, because they suspect nothing.
The passengers suspected nothing.
Then we'll cut off this part. We also have to fade out the question marks, so we will add opacity keyframes. Add a second at the end, decrease the opacity.
The passengers
Now the next step is to track these
passengers
question marks. So we add a big keyframe at the start of the keyframe, the question mark clips, and at the end where we want to have them, like for example this will be not even really visible anymore, which is not bad. And this will rotate a bit. And now we can go 3 frames at a time, adjusting them. 1, 2, 3, looks great. Okay. Watch out to not drag the background, but only the question mark. If you press the scroll wheel, you can navigate around the screen even in the zoomed in state. So we will do further tracking. The tracking is the most important thing right here, apart from the clip and voice quality, because it is directly correlated with the quality of the clip. Yeah.
The passengers suspected nothing when in big trouble. The passengers suspected nothing when.
And these clips we can always combine with some sound effects. Also, it's
The passenger.
weird when both appear at the same time. So we will take the one clip and take 3 frames away from it. The problem is that the keyframe doesn't exist anymore because it gets cut off, so we have to create a new one. Now they appear after one another.
The passengers. The passengers.
Let's do even more space between the appearance of both.
The passengers suspected nothing when. The passengers. The passengers. The passenger.
And now for the appearance of question marks, I really like to use the plop sound. The plop sound is really iconic, it isn't annoying, and people like it. So I also like it. Normally you have to increase the loudness by around 3 decibels. So add a plop sound for each.
Trouble. The passengers.
And to make these 2 voice clips, okay, in this situation we have to dial them down a little bit. To make them different from one another, you can easily go to voice changer and use a voice changer to make one deeper or something like that. Like for example, low.
Big trouble. The passengers. The passengers in big trouble. The passengers suspected nothing when entering the plane. He was suspected nothing when entering the plane. He was overly confident, so he smiled and waved them in. Waved them in. The pilot was inside. The pilot was in such a good mood, he even helped the ground crew close the door. But this is where crew closed the door. But this is the door. But this is where ground crew closed the door. But this is where he made his grave mistake. Just wait for it.
So now we will add a red circle for more entertainment. Make a quick zoom in.
He realized he realized that
So we can also add another ding sound effect for the circle.
he realized that he locked himself out of the plane and couldn't get in anymore.
And there we can use a random other sound effect.
Out of the plane and couldn't the plane and couldn't.
Okay. I think we have pretty much finished everything. Next step is to make the transitions better and maybe add a few zooms to make it more original. This is something you have to do by yourself, adding more sound effects where it is fitting, adding more special effects, adding like a text with wait for it. We can do it right here. Okay, now I'll message the other guy because we need him. Oh, no, he is. Leo is in the call. Perfect. Okay. Now we will have a look at how to get the voice. It is really easy. You go into the Discord, then you get to the standards chat, download the important links file, open it, and the next step is to simply go to this website. Yes, we trust it. Download the stuff here. Download. Open the file, but this is a zipped file, so we first have to extract all. Extract it. Open the .ttf file. Double click and click on install. Then the system, your whole PC will have the font, so you can use it in Word, in Excel, in DaVinci Resolve, everywhere. And also in CapCut. How do you use it in CapCut? Easy, it will be shown here. Just search for Comica Access, press enter, and you will find it. I have more Comica fonts from other projects, but Comica Access is the one we will use. You can't really see the text right here. That's because we haven't done the rest. The rest is really easy. We'll add a stroke. I think, what was the preset, 40 or something like that. Yeah, 40, color black. Here's the color white. The next thing is the shadow. This is more important because this shadow doesn't look that great. We'll adjust the angle to minus 90 degrees, the opacity to 88, so it's a little bit less. The blurriness to 9% and the distance to 5, which is already the standard. And now it looks way better because if we zoom in, the top of the text doesn't have this blurry shadow, only the bottom. So that is a really nice and interesting detail.
And where can we see what you have just mentioned, like in which notes?
Right here,
Okay, okay, thanks.
right here, stroke, black, stroke thickness, 40, shadow, black, and so on.
Perfect.
You can see a whole lot else, like how you use the AI voice, how you export the video, how you name the file even, and you can also find how to find clips. I have tried to make it as easy as possible for you guys. So
Can you just show us again how to add the fonts? Like I have downloaded, but where in CapCut can I add it? Or
okay, so you have downloaded it, you
yeah,
have extracted the
yes,
folder, you have
yes,
double clicked on the comica.ttf, now you click on install,
yeah.
now you close CapCut, reopen CapCut,
Mm.
and then if you look at my screen, you can just go to choose font, type in K is mostly enough, it will load for a second, okay, we'll write it out, Comica, not comics, so Comica, and then you'll find it.
All right, thanks.
And why have I added this? I have added this because of the following thing. Wait for it, ... This is a really impressive thing because it boosts retention by a lot. But this looks too big. I think I wrote something wrong. Yeah, and also place the font at the top right here, like the text box. Wait for it isn't set. It is only something that the viewer should read. So place it like in the upper third.
Grave mistake. Just wait for it. He realized that he locked himself out of the plane and couldn't get in anymore.
Open, please! I can't stand now! Waiting for me!
Would you have fired him for that? What did...
Okay, I won't really wait for you here, because it doesn't matter and I have other things to do. We are close to the finish line. The next thing that we'll do is go to filters. He has already really good color grading, but in most cases the source clip will still need some adjustment. On social media, you often have to increase the saturation because a high saturation is engaging. So we will use the Clear 2 filter. You can mark it with a star as your favorites, then you will find it in your favorites folder. And in some cases the 4K filter for these purposes. Sometimes the 4K filter really doesn't work, like for example in this example, the lines get really exaggerated, so dial it down or even delete it, because I think in this case you can see the difference. It increases the contrast, but it doesn't increase the overall quality, but it just bakes the image. We don't want that. For comparison, the Clear 2 filter, without it, it looks really gray and boring and dead. With it, it looks maybe a little bit too colorful. So we have to find something in the middle. For example, his vest here looks good, but with too much color grading, it doesn't. So always dial it to like 40, sometimes 90, sometimes even 100. In most cases not 0, except for the videos from Plane Spotters, because they were already made perfect. But in this case I'd dial it to like 40. This is also something that most people don't know, but it is really good for engagement. Another thing we will do is add a little zoom in at the beginning. So we will mark everything right here, press Alt and then G to create a compound clip. You can also do it by right-clicking the clips and, for example, like this, right-clicking and create a compound clip. Alt G is just the shortcut. And zooming in, for example, create a keyframe, go 3 in, and now you have a
What this pilot did.
like movement.
What this pilot did.
And
What this
is really interesting, but in this case, because the clip is already zoomed in, I wouldn't really do that. So what I would do in this case is do it the other way around to decrease the zoom a bit.
What this pilot did. What this pilot did before.
So there's
What this pilot did before takeoff got him in big trouble. The
that's nice.
passengers suspected nothing when entering the plane. He was overly confident.
So while you are still pasting in your stuff, I'll quickly say that it can be really helpful to put 2 keyframes at the end and beginning of a clip and do a really slow zoom in. That is helpful because it creates movement. The weird thing is that it isn't working at the moment. What the fuck? Which engages the viewer even more. Like, for example, zoom in at the pilot.
He was overly confident, so he smiled and waved them in.
Okay, now it looks really weird.
He was overly confident.
Because it's 2 clips.
He was overly confident, so he smiled and waved them in. He was overly confident, so he smiled and waved. The pilot was in such a good mood, he even helped the ground.
Okay. The last few things we can do to make this even better is to add a riser and better transitions. I am getting tired myself with my voice right here, so I'll try to make it as quick as possible. We'll go quickly into the stock media folder again, go to the frequently used sound effects and grab ourselves the riser and the swoosh. Both are really good sound effects. Add them to our timeline and cut a big part of the riser away until it reaches to the first real cut. Expand it to the back.
What this pilot did before takeoff got him in big trouble. The passenger.
And now it sounds really great because it builds up. Then we'll take the swoosh, adjust the speed to the transition. In this case, the transition
The passenger.
is really quick. And it's the same scene, so we will increase the speed by around 2 times. I've used 1.78.
What this pilot did before takeoff got him in big trouble. The passengers.
And add a transition. I really like the pull in, pull out, and swipe transition. Also, the whoosh transition is really interesting. The CapCut standard is way too long, so we'll reduce it by a lot, make it shorter.
The passenger.
This
Trouble. The passengers suspect.
was too short.
Big trouble. The passengers got him in big trouble. The passengers suspected.
Okay, this doesn't look good. Let's try to swipe left.
The passenger got him in big trouble. The passengers suspect. Trouble. The passengers suspected. What this pilot did before takeoff got him in big trouble. The passengers suspected. Big trouble. The passenger.
Okay, then maybe only the left.
In big trouble. The passengers. Trouble. The trouble. The passenger. In big trouble. The passenger. Big trouble. The passengers suspected nothing when entering the plane. He was. Suspected nothing when entering the plane.
Okay, and then for the transitions, we can use a lot of swoosh sounds, camera shutter effect, mouse click effect, Minecraft click effect, golf swing, and experience orb sound effect. I'll quickly drag in the 3 camera flashes, shutters, for the transitions. It's really widely used in the aviation niche, so you can also use it as a way to transition between clips, and it sounds like this.
During the plane, he was overly confident, so he smiled and waved them in.
But don't use it too excessively. I can't talk anymore. Too excessively.
The pilot was. The pilot was in such a good mood, he even helped the ground crew close the door. But this is where he made his grave mistake. Just wait for it.
Sir, can you also send the font file for the Comica Axis later?
I can send it, but the link to the download is already in the links page.
Okay,
I
okay,
can
thank you,
also
sir.
send it, no problem.
Okay.
So it's uploaded in the standards Discord.
The plane and couldn't get in anymore.
I can't. Please, I can't stand now.
Would you have fired him? him for that?
Okay, so if you are finished, you can look at my screen. I think the video is basically done. You can do a lot more, and I would do a lot more, but to keep this call as short as possible, because you guys have been sitting here for more than 2 hours, let's look at the clip. Maybe we will find something that still looks bad, but basically, oh wait, we have to generate the captions. So just watch me generate the captions. To generate the captions, we will go to captions on the top left. Click on generate. Wait a second. It normally auto detects that the language is English. But before we do that, a little trick in 11 Labs to get better captions is to select all files and make them into a compound clip by pressing Alt G. Then we can see it's not loud enough, so we increase it by, in this case, maybe 4 decibels. Sometimes you need to increase it up to 8 decibels.
What this pilot did before.
And then we can generate. This takes a little bit, and the captions have to be perfect. The next thing we'll do is to use the right font. So we'll use Comica Access, use the stroke and the shadow, adjust the angles to minus 90 degrees. The distance was right with 5 and the blurriness was at 9%. Now we have too many words down here, so we will go to the animations tab, go to the captions animations, and normally we use slide stretch. Sometimes we use bounce out. It doesn't really work. Okay. So we have lost probably Leo again. Yeah, he has no power. Then we'll take the captions and put them more in the middle of the screen.
What this pilot did before takeoff got him in big trouble. The passengers suspected nothing when entering the plane. He was overly confident, so he smiled and waved them in. The pilot was in such a good mood, he even helped the ground crew close the door. But this is where he made his great...
Okay, in this case, I'd say it's a little bit too far up there, so we will take all the captions again and put them on the blue background right here, a little bit below the center line. But what we should never do is put them here, because then the people have to often decide between, for example, in this case, looking at his face or the captions, and that distracts them. So putting them here's the middle, right below the middle is perfect. Sometimes it's perfect to put them in the middle, and sometimes we have to put them a little bit lower, for example, when something is happening here in the center. But right here is the perfect placement.
What this pilot did before takeoff got him in big trouble. The passengers suspected nothing when entering the plane.
Oh, and we forgot to choose the right size. The right size is size 14. So with size 14 we have to put it normally right here.
He was overly confident, so he smiled and waved them in. The pilot was in such a good mood, he even helped the ground crew close the door. But this is where he made his grave mistake. Just wait for it.
So we can make this a little bit smaller. I would make the wait for it or like text like this way smaller than the captions, because it's not really important.
He realized that he locked himself out of the plane and couldn't.
Okay, Here it doesn't generate.
Open, please! I can't stand now! Waiting for me!
Would you have fired him for that?
Here there's no captions, and that is really annoying. So what you can do is just copy this over and type them in manually. So would you have fired him for that? Previously I used to use CapCut, but I don't have access to that anymore, so we are stuck with CapCut captions.
Waiting for me!
Would you
And waiting for me, we can do like an exclamation mark.
Waiting for me!
would you have fired him for that? What this
Another problem is that it doesn't show everything. You can fix this by pressing enter and splitting this into two parts.
Me!
Would you have fired him for that? What this
Him, and then maybe for that,
Would you have fired him for that? What this
and now it sounds good. Another part where it didn't pick up the voiceover was right here.
He realized that he locked himself out of the plane and couldn't get in anymore.
So we'll have to do this. Okay. Adjust it so it starts here and it ends here.
He realized that he locked himself out of the plane and couldn't.
So we'll delete
He
that.
realized
And now we have to do it manually. So press enter after everything.
he realized that he locked himself out of the plane and couldn't get in anymore. He realized that he locked himself out of the plane and couldn't get in anymore.
Okay. Now we
Couldn't
are,
ist falsch geschrieben.
ja, juckt jetzt nicht. Ich will fertig werden. Now the last thing we have to do is go into text and highlight some words. I have this tactic from a friend who has reached 1 billion views. So we will mark the important words like pilot and make them into the color from the document which I have provided. This is really important. Like, just copy the color code out of here, paste it into CapCut right here, and now the pilot is blue.
What this pilot did.
Wait a second, it is still marked.
What this pilot did before. What this pilot did before.
And then we can mark take off pink. So this is just an example. And trouble we can mark red. These are the 3 colors we will use.
Before takeoff got him in big trouble. What this pilot did before takeoff got him in big trouble.
That looks way better than just no colors. We will do this throughout the whole video, except for when a person is speaking. In this case, all of this right here will stay white. But
Would you have fired?
we can still use the colors for the AI voice. So only the narrator, as stated in the document, right here, only use the colors when the narrating voice is talking. When people talk, only use white font. that's about it. Then we can click onto export.